We're considering raising it to $10, which if you work 40 hours a week would mean you make $400 a week. I asked Steve Schmidt last week, you know, could you live on that? I noticed he never wanted to answer.
In Australia, he operated his car around that.
Australia, the minimum wage is $16.88, just to give you an idea of another country.
Province of Ontario just raised it to $11 an hour, and what's really interesting is the traditional objection from the right has been raise the minimum wage and you will kill job growth. But there is now actual data on this, and there have been some really good economic studies comparing American states next door to each other that one has raised the minimum wage, the other hasn't, and there hasn't been an impact on employment. So really right now, when I think the biggest economic problem is stagnant middle-class wages and the fact that people can have a job, can work hard, and still not be able to support their families. And raising the minimum wage is a way to help that.
Part of advancing a successful minimum wage policy is communicating that data to individuals around the country who are fearing the effect on their businesses. I have talked about minimum wage to audiences around the country, and I have heard business owners stand up and say to me, well, how am I supposed to go to my workers and say, all right, I've got to lay off half of you because now we need to hike up our wages? It doesn't have to be that way. There is actually a way to say, look, this can be an opportunity, it can increase morale, it can increase productivity. With smart business planning, there is a way to have minimum wage policies coexist with local business concerns of the kinds that you hear when you introduce this. But that means better communication of the data that you're talking about.
I think that it is a real tragedy and a disaster for anyone who believes in capitalism that you can have a job and not be able to get by.
But the average age of the McDonald's worker used to be a teenager, now it's 29 years old. The world has
if you can pay the same wage and get a 29-year-old or a 16-year-old, you're going to get the 29-year-old probably. That's part of the problem.
But the 29-year-old might have a family.
Part of the problem is too many 29-year-olds have jobs.
Okay.
I don't think that's part of the problem right now, anywhere in the world.
You know, but it's the idea in the Republican Party that the people who are out of work or are struggling just need some additional motivation. You know, when they wouldn't increase or keep going the unemployment benefits, you know, we heard that it was a disincentive. You know, if we just tighten the screws, they will try a little harder to find non-existent jobs. There's 3 applicants for every job. It's like the Hunger Games, you know. Which one will last? And I don't think there's a realism there. Well, there is a lot of money. I read in your book that since 1979, productivity has gone up 90% from American workers, but their income has only gone up 8%. And I think I know where that money went. Congress is now majority millionaire.